Hello and welcome to week 13 of the Country Garden Crochet Along, and this week we're going to add a border around our lawn that's been made with the seed stitch to create another path around our blanket. So how do we make it? Okay, so I'm going back to the same brown that we used for that double crochet row around our lawn, and you can join into any stitch for this, but for this first round for this week we're only going to be working into that third loop again because we want that last round of the camel stitch still to stand out really nice. So I'm just going to join into that third loop and chain one, and in that first same stitch I'm going to make a single crochet. Okay, so that chain one doesn't count as a stitch. So the seed stitch is a really nice easy stitch to do. So our first stitch is a single crochet. In the next stitch you're going to double crochet. In the next stitch, single crochet again. And then in the next stitch, double crochet. And that's the pattern for the entire stitch. It's single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, and you just repeat that all the way around. So every stitch is in the third loop, and when you get to the corners, just like before, we're going to add an extra stitch into that second stitch of the corner, just like we did all the way through the camel stitch. So I'm just going to work up to that corner stitch, which is that one there. And here it is. Okay, so my first stitch into there is a single crochet. So if yours is a double crochet, that's absolutely fine. It just depends on where you join. So it doesn't matter if it's a double crochet. So my first stitch is single crochet, and my second stitch in that stitch is a double crochet. So we're keeping with a pattern. This does cause a little bit of a problem with later rounds, but don't worry, I'll show you how that works. And then I just carry on. So my last stitch was a double crochet. My next stitch is a single crochet. So we just stick with the pattern and just keep going round. Okay, so you do the same thing when it gets to the next corner. So you just carry on with the pattern with 2 stitches in a row. So if your first stitch is a single crochet, you also do a double crochet in that stitch. And if your first stitch in that corner stitch is a double crochet, you make a single crochet as your next stitch. That's all there is to it. And just keep following the pattern all the way around. So I'm going to carry on with that, and I shall see you when I get back to the beginning. Okay, so I got back around to the beginning of the round. So my first stitch of the round was a single crochet, which means my last stitch was a double crochet. Okay, and now we're going to carry on the round. So slip stitch into the first stitch and then chain one. Into that first stitch you want to make a double crochet chain. So for this stitch you make the opposite into every stitch. Right, so into the top of every single crochet you're going to make a double crochet. Into the top of every double crochet you make a single crochet. So round 2 we're making the exact same pattern but opposite. So we started round 1 with a single crochet, we start round 2 with a double crochet. Okay, so all your stitches should be the opposite of what you're working into. Okay, so double crochet into the top of the single crochet, and then single crochet into the top of the double crochet. Exactly the same all the way around. So I'm just going to carry on for a bit and I'll show you what we do for the corners, because it changes a little bit in this one. It's that one extra stitch causes a little bit of a problem. Don't worry, we're going to solve it and you won't see the difference in the final outcome. Right, it's over there. So single crochet in that one, then a double crochet. Right, so here's the second stitch of our corner, which for me is a double crochet. So I'm going to do a single crochet into it first, and then I'll make a double crochet as well. This causes a problem because the next stitch is a single crochet, which needs a double crochet in it as well. And that's exactly what I'm going to make. I'm going to make another double crochet. So if that second stitch you're working into was a single crochet, you'll make a double crochet into it first, then a single crochet, and then your next stitch, which will be a double crochet, you'd make a single crochet into. Okay, so you're making one of each stitch into that corner stitch, but your next stitch will be what you need to make. Okay, so I've got 2 double crochet in a row there, but I need to do that to be able to continue on my pattern. So that's what you do. You'll have 2 of the same stitches in a row, but that's just for the corner, to get round and be able to carry on in the same pattern. And other than that, it's exactly the same as round 1. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we're working both loops for this one. Do apologise. Round 2, you work in both loops. Okay. So I'm going to carry on with that round, and I shall see you when we get back to the beginning. Right, I'm at the beginning of the round, and I've slip stitched into that first stitch. And so now we're going to start round 3. Round 3 is essentially a repeat of round 2. So we finished on where are we? Okay, so the stitch we slip stitched into was a double crochet, which means we're going to start the round with a single crochet. So the only difference from round 2 is the stitch we start with. Okay, so again working into both loops, and so single, then double. So exactly the same as before. If the stitch in the row below is a double crochet, the stitch you make into that is a single crochet. Okay, and if the stitch below was a single crochet, then you make a double crochet into the top. The other difference in this round is at the corner. So in round 2, we had to make 2 of the same stitch in a row in that corner. But because of the way this is going to work, when we get to that extra stitch, it means that you can just carry on the pattern all the way around. There's no 2 of the same stitch in a row. I'll just get to the corner and I'll show you what I mean. So single, double, oops. Turn it around a bit there. There's single, double, and the next stitch is the second corner stitch. Okay, so we finished on a double, and that corner stitch is a double. So I'm going to make a single crochet first, and then the second stitch is a double crochet into that same stitch. So we've got a double. The next stitch round is that second stitch that we had to do in a row, which is a double. So I can now do a single. So there's no 2 of the same stitch. So we've got, in the same stitch, we've got a single and a double, and because the next stitch in the row below was a double, we've now got a single. So we just carry around in the pattern. Even with a 2 in 1 stitch, we're not breaking the pattern in row 3. Okay, so we just carry on around until we get back to the beginning and slip stitch in that first stitch. So after that we've got 2 rows to go. Row 4 is a repeat of row 2, including that bit with the 2 of the same stitches in a row in the corner, so I'll have to repeat that as well. And row 5 is a repeat of row 3. Okay, so once we've done row 5, we are finished for this week. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and I shall come back when I finish that fifth round even. I'll back in a minute. Okay, so I finished all 5 rounds, and I've woven in my ends, so you'll have a nice thick band as this. So this corner edge does tend to curl up a bit, but don't worry, that will straighten out as we add more rows on. And that's week 13 complete. So I shall see you next week for week 14. Bye for now.